Come on. Up. Oh. Up.
I was fired up about that. That was a seminar for the coaches and competitive team at CrossFit Altitude that I ran. I ended up lifting some pretty heavy things. That 200 kilos there was supposed to be a double, which would have been a 5-pound double PR, but instead I tripled it, and that's a 25-pound beltless triple PR and 10-pound lifetime triple PR, so I was happy. The seminar was a great time, had a lot of fun, a lot of people hit some PRs, and it was good. So my knee had been bugging me a lot. I had mentioned that in my past vlogs. So that squat there that you saw, or that squat triple, came after 5 days of rest. I just took a lot of time off, went up to a cottage, pretty much drank a lot of beers and sat around and ate a ton of meat and let my knee recover, did some stretching, and came back. And I had a really good week of training. So these snatches here in the videos to come are my training sessions from Monday, January 5th, all the way through till Wednesday, January 7th. So I've been reinventing my snatch pull a little bit. I'm not sure if it's completely obvious, but I'm really focusing on a dynamic speed change around the knee instead of just ripping the weight off the ground, and extending vertically straight up with my chest, which is going to stop that problem I had with jumping back. And I've also really dedicated a lot of effort to no longer picking my feet up off the ground so aggressively and instead finishing the extension through my knee, which seems to be keeping me in the same place instead of jumping back and leaving the bar out in front. So I discovered some really incredible footage of the Russian national weightlifting teams just lifting for an hour at a time. So after watching hours and hours of uncut footage of the best weightlifters in the world being coached by the best coaches in the world, I've had a lot of revelations about technique. And I'm slowly and steadily going to be making those changes to my technique in the hope that I'll be lifting some pretty good weight soon. So I know I had mentioned I was going to be doing a whole bunch of lifting from low blocks and high blocks for a while, but I kind of off the cuff decided to do a competition on January 17th, which should qualify me for provincials and, if all goes well, nationals in the same meet. So I decided it was time to start taking some weights from the floor and really just use this week as an accumulation block, a very short one, and then do a little peak next week. Maybe a 3-day taper, show up, get some big weights, and move on with my weightlifting career. So that was 96 kilos there. Was my current double PR. I had mentioned a few times I wanted 98, but I've been liking 3 kilo jumps, so I honored that and went right to 99. And this first snatch at 99 it's a pretty darn good one. You'll see I don't jump back at all. I move under the bar quickly. I've also really been focusing on catching with a wider stance because that lets me drive my knees further forward and sit in between my feet as opposed to onto my feet, which makes for a better receiving position. It means I don't have to lean my chest as far forward, and I can stay nice and upright. So 100 kilos for a double is something that I've really wanted for a long time. I wanted 98, but 100 was kind of the intimidating weight. But today I decided I was going to get it. Stuck with another 3 kilo jump and went right to 102. That was a pretty decent snatch there. Now I always know if I spend that much time resetting for a rep, I'm thinking way too much, and it's game over. If I spend a good 5-6 seconds between reps, that's okay, that's just me collecting myself, but if it's 10-12 seconds, it's a bit too long. On that one there, I didn't quite finish my extension, moved under the bar too soon, so I didn't get enough height on it. Now, I make this double here, and I was pretty stoked about it, but One thing that I don't like is that I kept my hook grips while I was receiving, so I didn't get a nice finish on the bar. And you can see I don't press it out, but there's a slight bend in my elbow. I keep it there. Maybe that was a bit of a press out. But I don't have a very strong finish when I receive with hook grips because I have very long arms. And only having the little tiny bit of kind of flesh right by my thumb to support the bar on isn't quite enough to get a good finish, whereas when I've been practicing this a lot lately, as I'm transitioning from my second pull into the reception of the snatch, I'm opening up my hook grip and punching up with a full closed fist on the bar, and that's been giving me way nicer finishes on it. So after this, I did a ton of snatch pulls. I actually did 4 sets at 120 here, although I only filmed 2 of them. I suck at snatch pulls. It's something I'm realizing. I'm not continuing to deliver force with my feet into the ground, which is something I need to get much better at. It's funny, a coach at one of the gyms I trained at over the summer said, "You're good at snatching, but you suck at snatch pulls," and he was damn right. So what I'm trying to do on these pulls is conceptualize that I'm actually going to snatch the weight. And that helped a little bit, but you can't quite hear that connection with my hip. I'm going up on my toes a bit soon. That was a good one there, actually. But the encouraging thing about all this is the height I'm getting on the bar, even though I'm not using my legs to full effect, and the fact that I'm extending very vertically. So afterwards, I decided I wanted to just pull some heavy singles. Did 125, 130, 135, and went to 140. Which is 308 pounds, and I was pretty happy with how high I get this. So I got that above my belly button. So with some more speed, precision, and just overall better technique and overhead strength, I could get under that weight. And I mean, 140 kilos is my goal about 18 months from now to snatch. But I currently, it seems, have the strength to do it. So the following day I went in and I never do doubles or triples on cleans, so I decided I was going to do 2 cleans plus 1 jerk and get up to an appreciable weight and then do multiple sets there. I'm again trying to reinvent my clean technique a little bit after watching those videos of the Russians with their impeccable technique. A bit slower off the floor, wider grip, and more vertical extension. I really jump back on my cleans. Or have previously, but if you notice today, I don't jump back whatsoever. So that a bit more patience, getting the bar high on my thigh, as well as the vertical extension is keeping my feet in the right spot, and my feet are coming outwards, and I'm receiving nice and wide, which is encouraging. I actually quite liked the way my cleans felt today. This is the second set at 130. Now, if you've been watching my vlogs, you know that my best double of any kind is 131 from low blocks. So to hit, I ended up doing 5 sets of 2 cleans plus 1 jerk at 130 kilos. Mind you, I didn't do a jerk on the last set, which you'll see because I was so exhausted. But to do that chunk of weight, like 1 kilo off my best double for 5 doubles, was pretty encouraging. Now, there's still technically things I need to work out on my clean. My pull's looking a little bit better, but I still am bending my arms early, which is cutting off the power I could deliver with my legs. That's something that I'm actually getting a little bit better at. Still a problem. I'm letting the bar crash onto me there. I need to, one thing I'd really like to implement over time is never detaching myself from the bar. So keeping my hands on it through the turnover and receiving it where it is, and then taking it down to the bottom, as opposed to pulling it high, sitting quickly, and having it land on me. Now, thankfully, I'm strong enough that at this weight, it doesn't really bully me around very much. But if you watch my first vlog when I clean 147, it comes crashing down on me and really takes me for a ride. Now the CrossFit class started on the other side of the gym, so I had to turn my music off so the headphones went on. But that's okay. I find I focus really well and still lift well, even though I can't hear what's around me. Which, you know, a lot of your balance comes from your inner ear. So my legs are getting pretty tired here. Jerks didn't feel great. Elbows were a little bit beat up, and my legs were tired from the previous day of lots and lots of snatches and snatch pulls. But I didn't miss a single jerk, which is encouraging. Now, this was my 5th set, and my legs were pretty tired at this point. I was just tired in general. This was about 2 hours into the workout. I've been spending a lot more time warming up with the bar. I did about 6 sets with the bar, 6 sets of 70 kilos. That's something I noticed the Russians did, is they spend tons and tons of time with their timing and tempo at very light weights. So that was pretty good clean there. Still let it crash on me, but I caught a nice bounce and came out with it strong. This was tough. I really let it crash, as you can see. So the next day, my buddy AJ and I came in and just did pretty much a strength day. I was going to give my shoulders a day off from overhead work. AJ took about 6 months off lifting altogether or so, and he's been back at it for 6 weeks now and hadn't front squatted in a year. So these front squats at 90 kilos, they were pretty good. His hip mobility was on point. You know, he's an extremely explosive guy, so with some more effort and some more time and commitment to, heavy front squatting, he could be hitting some big weights. So I did 4 sets of 4 at 180 kilos in this workout, and they were really hard. I had mentioned before how I want to start my 4s progression model with 6 sets of 4 at 175 kilo or 385 pounds. But because of how hard the previous 2 days were, I didn't want to do all that volume. So my thought process here was do a good 4 sets of 4 at 180, and then next time I squat, the 6 sets of 4 at 175 or 385 should be very doable. Now, I've widened my stance in my squat a little bit recently because that's the exact stance I want to be receiving my snatches and cleans in. And a bit of a wider stance, it seems, has felt a bit better on my knee, which is encouraging because my knee was giving me a lot of problems. So, pretty much no knee pain these 3 days. I feel good about that. So these squats were extremely hard. After this, did a whole ton of pulls. It's like 6 sets of snatch pulls, 4 sets of clean pulls, a bunch of lower back work, ab work, and then some bicep curls because I like doing curls, once a month or so I still feel like a man. Well, there you go. That's the last 3 days of lifting. Thanks for watching. Until next time.